Hello guys, 2023 is almost over now and we are going to enter the new year very soon. So I just wanted to share with you guys some of the wonderful recipes I made this year. So let's check out and see what they are. First we're going to cook the noodles. To a pot, take enough water. Once the water starts boiling, add a teaspoon of salt. Now I've taken about 4 packets of ramen noodles. These noodles cook very quickly, so just cook them for just about 2 minutes. So I'm just adding a little oil while cooking the noodles, so that way they stay a bit loose and they don't stick to each other. So you can check the noodles after 2 minutes, they are cooked completely. I'm just going to strain them and keep it aside. So here is a quick tip for you guys. So just in case the noodle gets a bit sticky after they cool down, just add a little bit of cold water or water at room temperature just to release them. That way they will be nice and loose. Next we're going to temper the ingredients. To a nice wide kadai or a wok, add about 2 tablespoons of oil. Add about 2 teaspoons of chopped garlic, 1 teaspoon chopped ginger. Next add about half onion that's been thinly sliced. Saute the ingredients for about 2 minutes. Next add about half cup of thinly cut juliennes of carrots, half cup of finely shredded cabbage. Using a wide wok like this will help to stir fry the vegetables better. Next add quarter cup of red capsicum that's been thinly sliced, quarter cup of thinly sliced green capsicum. Just saute all the vegetables for about 2 to 3 minutes. You don't want to overcook the vegetables because you want it a little bit crunchy. So after about 3 minutes, just reduce the flame to a medium-low and add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, half teaspoon cumin powder, 1 to 2 teaspoons of Kashmiri red chilli powder, 2 teaspoons Chaat Masala powder. Next add 1 teaspoon of sugar and add about 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. So you can add chili sauce if you like, and you can adjust the spice according to your taste. To give a nice crunch, I'm adding a few spring onion whites and a few spring onion greens. And just mix that in. Now add the cooked ramen. I'm using 2 spatulas to mix the noodles along with the vegetables. So this way you can avoid any breakage of the noodles. Just make sure the vegetable mixture coats the noodles well. You can see the vegetables along with all the spices have coated the noodles beautifully. Finally, I'm finishing off by garnishing with some spring onion greens. These are very simple street style noodles. Let me tell you, the perfect way to get these street style noodles is to choose the vegetables correctly. The cabbage, capsicum and carrots are mandatory. And do not forget to add as many spice powders as possible to your noodles to get that street style feeling. Make sure you serve these noodles nice and hot. For this recipe, I've taken 1 cup, that's a 250 ml measurement, of long grain basmati rice. Cook the rice separately. So once you've cooked the rice, you can refrigerate it and you can chill the rice before you make the fried rice. I'm just cutting a few florets from one head of the broccoli. Cut it into medium-sized pieces. Wash it nicely and keep it aside. To a nice wide kadai or a wok, add 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. Sesame oil will give a wonderful taste for fried rice recipes. Once the wok or the kadai is nicely heated up, add 2 teaspoons of finely chopped garlic, 1 medium-sized onion finely chopped. After adding the onions, just saute it on high flame for about a minute. Next, I'm adding all the vegetables one by one. Quarter cup of finely chopped beans, 1 small carrot finely chopped, half green capsicum finely chopped, half red capsicum finely chopped. So you can add any vegetables of your choice. You can add mushrooms if you like. It's up to you. Keeping the flame on a high, stir fry all the vegetables. Now I'm adding the broccoli florets. This is roughly about 2 cups. So I've used 1 small broccoli head for this recipe. You can adjust the quantity of vegetables depending on the quantity of rice that you're using. After about a minute, I'm going to season it with 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper. You can adjust the seasoning according to your taste. Next, add 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, Next, add 1 tablespoon of chili sauce. Now, you can use any hot sauce for this recipe. So I'm using the sriracha hot sauce. You can use the normal chili sauce if you have that. Once the vegetables are done, add the cooked long grain basmati rice. So I've chilled the rice after cooking it. Now add the spring onion whites and the spring onion greens and carefully mix all the vegetables along with the rice. So if you see the spring onions, I've added it in the end because it gives a very nice flavor and crunch. So carefully mix everything well. You can see the broccoli fried rice is coming together so beautifully. After adding the rice, you can check for seasoning and add a little bit of salt or pepper according to your taste. For all the egg lovers, you can just scramble 1 or 2 eggs and just add it in the end. That's another option for you guys. So there you go. Here is this absolutely easy and gorgeous and loaded with flavor broccoli fried rice. That is a must try. So I've served it with some nice Manchurian gravy by the side. You can enjoy it however you like. I have all the ingredients for the Rava Dosa here. To a bowl, add 1 cup of rice flour. This is easily available for you in grocery stores or in supermarkets. 1/4 cup semolina, that is suji or rava. 1/4 cup maida, that is all-purpose flour. 1/2 teaspoon salt. 1/4 teaspoon hing. Once you've added all the dry ingredients, just give it a quick mix. Next, add 1 medium-sized onion that's been finely chopped. 1 green chilli finely chopped. A piece of ginger finely chopped. Next, add 1/2 teaspoon cumin seeds. 1/2 teaspoon whole peppercorns. And just a few chopped curry leaves. Mix all these ingredients along with the flour. So now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of fresh curd. Now gradually start pouring the water and mixing the flour till you get a nice batter consistency. This particular batter will need a lot of water because we're going to make the batter nice and runny. It's going to be a nice pouring consistency. You can see how quickly the flour has absorbed all that water. So you have to pour little water at a time. It looks almost like a thick buttermilk consistency. So I have poured almost 1 liter of water to get this particular consistency of the batter. You can check for seasoning at this point, and if you do need to add a bit of salt, you can. So now the Rava Dosa batter is done. Let this sit for about 30 minutes. So the batter has been sitting for about 30 minutes. You can see how runny it is. If you have any excess batter left, you can refrigerate it for up to 2 days. Now we're going to start making the Rava Dosas. For this, make sure the pan is nice and flat. You don't want a curvy pan. To the pan, just add a few drops of oil and wipe off all the oil. Now I recommend you to use a non-stick pan for this dosa recipe because you will get it nice and crispy and it's easier to remove it from the pan. Once the tawa is nice and hot, start pouring the batter from the outside. So you can see the batter is very runny and very thin. All you need to do is just pour the batter onto the tawa on all sides. So if there are any gaps in the middle, pour a little bit of the batter and fill it up. After about a minute, pour oil on the sides of the dosa and in the center. So you do need to add a little extra oil for this particular dosa because you want it nice and crispy. And we will not be flipping it to the other side. So the Rava Dosa will take at least 10 minutes to become nice and crispy and to get completely cooked through. Maintain the flame on a medium. So once the dosa becomes lovely brown and crispy like this, you can start releasing it from all sides. So you can see how crispy the dosa is and it's cooked through beautifully. You don't have to flip it to the other side. Just reduce the flame a bit and gently take care to see not to break the dosa. The Rava Dosas are best enjoyed nice and hot right out of the tawa. You can enjoy it with some nice chutneys and sambar by the side. This is a very quick to make instant dosa that you can easily try at home. You can see how beautifully it's roasted. These instant crispy Rava Dosas are even better than the ones you get at restaurants. Trust me guys. For the onion chutney, I have all the ingredients here. First, we're going to roast all these ingredients to a nice white pan or a kadai. Add 1 tablespoon of oil. Once the pan is heated up, add 1 tablespoon of chana dal. Next, add 1 tablespoon of urud dal. Roast the dals first. Once the chana dal and the urud dal starts turning to a nice golden color, add the onions. For this recipe, I've taken 4 large onions, roughly chopped. Saute the onions for about 2 to 3 minutes. After about 3 minutes, add 1 piece of ginger, roughly chopped. Next, add about 12 small cloves of garlic and continue to saute the onions. Now for the spice, I'm adding about 12 Byadgi chilies. If you don't have these chilies, you can use the Kashmiri red chilies or the regular spicy Guntur chilies. You can adjust the quantity of the chilies according to the quantity of onions that you're using. So next I'm adding a few pieces of tamarind. This will give a nice mild tanginess to the chutney. Next I'm adding 1.5 teaspoons of rock salt. Now if you don't have rock salt, you can use the regular table salt. Continue to saute all the ingredients. So now you can see that the onions have cooked well. They've turned to a nice golden color. You don't want to brown the onions too much. Once the onions have come to this stage, turn off the stove, transfer the ingredients to another plate and cool the ingredients completely. Once the ingredients have cooled down, transfer it to the mixer jar. Now I'm adding just 1 teaspoon of jaggery. If you don't have jaggery, you can use brown sugar. First I'm grinding all the ingredients without adding any water. Once you've got this coarse mixture, add little water at a time and grind the chutney to a nice fine paste. Now you can see the chutney's got this beautiful color as well as a nice smooth consistency. This is how you want your onion chutney to be. Once you've ground the chutney, just check for seasoning and just make sure that all the flavors are spot on. So now I'm going to temper a few ingredients that will go into the chutney. To a tempering pan, add a little oil. Once the oil is hot, add 1 teaspoon of urud dal, 1 teaspoon mustard seeds, 1 teaspoon cumin seeds. Once the mustard seeds start splattering, add the red chilies. Turn off the stove at this point. Add a little bit of hing, that is asparagus powder. Mix that in. And finally add a few curry leaves. Transfer the tempered ingredients onto the chutney. I'm serving this delicious onion chutney with some nice hot steaming idlis. I've just made some fresh hot idlis. This onion chutney pairs perfectly with some nice idlis. You can enjoy it with some nice dosas as well. What better way to enjoy this lovely, tangy and spicy onion chutney with those nice, soft and spongy, hot steaming idlis with a little bit ghee on top. Here is a perfect breakfast, and you can also enjoy this for a nice evening tiffin. For the Arbi fry, I've taken about half kilo of taro root, that's the Arbi. Wash it nice and clean, make sure there's no mud sticking to it. So first we're going to cook the Arbi. To a pot, add enough water for boiling. Add a little bit of salt. Now gently drop in the washed and cleaned Arbi, that is the taro root, into the pot. Keeping the flame on a medium. Cook the Arbi for at least about 20 minutes. So if you want to pressure cook the Arbi, you can do it for 1 whistle. Now just make sure that it's not too soft or too mushy. It has to be a little firm, yet completely cooked. Using a knife, I'm just going to pierce to see if it's cooked through. So after 20 minutes, the vegetable is cooked beautifully. Remove from the water, cool it for 5 minutes. After it's cooled down, peel off the skin. Remove the skin in the same manner and slice it into nice medium-sized pieces. So next I'm going to mix all the spice powders together. This is the masala mix that coats the vegetable. To a bowl, add about 2 teaspoons of salt. Next add half teaspoon of turmeric powder, 3 teaspoons red chili powder, 2 teaspoons coriander powder, 2 teaspoons cumin powder, quarter teaspoon hing, Next, add 2 teaspoons of besan, that is gram flour. This will help to coat the masala to the vegetable nicely. And 2 teaspoons of rice flour. Now, rice flour will give you a nice crispiness to the vegetable fry. Mix everything well. And gently add it to the vegetable. Now coat the arbi pieces with this masala mix. Make sure all the pieces are coated well with the masala. Let this sit for 5 minutes and then we can start frying it. Now take a nice wide pan, add about 3 tablespoons of oil, add a few curry leaves, after a few seconds, gently place the arbi pieces onto the pan. Make sure you place it nice and even on the pan. So we're going to fry this on medium flame till you get this lovely rich brown color. Gently mix it at intervals. Just make sure you don't break the pieces. To add extra flavor to the fry, I'm just adding some pound garlic. Now, this is entirely optional. After adding the garlic, fry for another 5 minutes on low flame. You can see how that masala has coated the pieces so beautifully. The arbi fry is done. You can turn off the stove at this point and serve it nice and hot. Now this arbi fry goes very well with plain rice, with curd rice, or you can even enjoy it as is. Sometimes I just love eating it as is. It tastes so good. For the rose milk pudding, first I'm going to make the corn flour slurry. To a bowl, add 1/4 cup of corn flour. Next, add 1/4 cup of boiled and cooled milk. Mix it well. Just make sure that the corn flour is completely dissolved in the milk. Next, add 2 drops of the rose food coloring and mix it well into the corn flour slurry. This will give you a nice, lovely rose pink color. Using a whisk will be better than mixing with a spoon. To a saucepan, take 500 ml of full cream milk. To this, I'm adding 1/4 cup of white sugar. Mix that in. Add about 4 tablespoons of rose syrup. I have made a recipe for how to make rose syrup at home. I'll give you the link in the description. You can check that out. Or you can also buy the rose syrup from the store and use that as well. Now add the corn flour mixture and using a whisk, continue to mix it well. Maintain the flame on a medium-low. So we're going to cook this mixture till it becomes nice and thick. So you can see the mixture has thickened beautifully and it's got this lovely rich pink color. Just a minute before turning off the stove, add just 1 small cube of butter. This is unsalted butter. So the butter is optional if you don't want. Pour a little bit of the mixture into a small cup or a bowl that you want to set it in. Make sure you do it as soon as the mixture thickens while it's still hot. Just gently shake it so that it's all perfectly set. You can see how thick and creamy and how silky smooth that mixture is. Leave it in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. Do not freeze the pudding. Never leave the pudding in the freezer. Always refrigerate it. This is just a small trick that you can use if you want to demold the pudding by placing it in a little bit of warm water. So you can see how beautifully the pudding is getting released from the sides of the cup. Now place a small plate over the cup, flip it over, and you can watch this pudding beautifully sliding out of the cup. For the finishing touches, I'm just adding a spoon of the rose syrup on top of the pudding, and you can garnish it with some chopped pistachios. You can enjoy this beautiful pudding however you like. Just make sure you serve it nice and chilled. You can see how soft and perfectly it's set. You can see that little jiggle there. So that's a great indication that the pudding has set fantastically. Now I'm going to cut it into the soft pudding. Wow, look how beautifully creamy it looks. Here are 6 recipes that I enjoyed making, and I hope you guys will try them too. And when you do, please let me know how it turned out for you guys in the comment section below. Take care and see you all next year. Bye-bye. The second edition of our home cooking book is now available on our website 21frames.in. I'll give you the link in the description. You can go and check it out. The book is currently available only in India for now. So you can place your orders on 21frames.in.